Hello, sports fans. It is I, Noma, back with another card opening video for your entertainment. But today we're not opening any cards. Today we're talking about cards because there's two big breaking stories that we need to discuss right away. So we're going to dive right into it. The first is that rumor has it that PSA has acquired SGC. Now that would be a really big deal because there's only three major recognized grading companies at this point, and those are PSA, SGC, and Beckett or BGS. So if two of them are combining forces, then that is going to do a lot for disrupting the grading side of things. And there's already been a little bit of a division between people preferring Beckett or PSA, and SGC did a really good job, to their credit, of getting to a place where they were a legitimate competitor. Well, now they've been bought out. Supposedly they're going to keep both brands separate, but I don't think that's going to happen for very long, because you don't acquire a business to just keep it the way it is. If your business does the same thing, you might do that to diversify if you have a really large conglomerate kind of corporation, but if you do something that your competitor does and then you acquire your competitor, you're not typically going to just leave them alone and let them do what they do. You're trying to acquire their resources, their human resources, which in this case is graders who know what they're doing, and also their facilities. So my guess is eventually that SGC is going to go away. I obviously don't know that for sure, but that's my guess. Now, that's kind of interesting because I think it's going to affect the values of SGC graded cards, which are already slightly below those of PSA and BGS graded cards, because it's cheaper to get a card graded from SGC. My speculation is that modern cards that have been graded by SGC will become worth less once SGC is no longer a thing. I think vintage cards that have been graded by SGC will be worth more because SGC made its name on grading vintage cards in the first place. So once SGC is no longer a thing and it's been absorbed by PSA, which is what I think will happen, the SGC modern cards will go down in value because they'll be considered even more inferior to PSA and Beckett. But the SGC vintage cards will go up in value because, for the same reason that vintage cards themselves are scarce, vintage cards that were graded by a company that no longer exists will be even more scarce. I don't do a lot of graded cards. I enjoy opening and trading cards. That's just what I do. I don't do a lot of investing either. This is a hobby and it's just for fun. But if I were investing in cards, I would get rid of my SGC graded modern cards and I would invest more in SGC graded vintage cards. But that's just my opinion, and I'm not liable for any decisions you make based on my advice. Okay, so the other big piece of news is the 2024 Topps Series 1. One of the most exciting things was that they were going to be stamping each of the first card that was printed. So literally the first Ellie De La Cruz card that was ever printed, with a special foil on the front and a special 1/1 on the back, as well as every John Gray card printed. So everything from a common to a superstar rookie card, there was going to be just one that was literally the first one rolled off the press, was going to get a stamp on the front stating that, and a stamp on the back saying 1/1. Topps has come out and said, sorry guys, we did stamp the back, but we didn't stamp the front. And that's a little bit of a problem because this is one of the most exciting things to chase in this product. Obviously, your odds of hitting one were extremely low because you think of the millions of each card that get printed, there's only one that was first off the press. But a really cool concept. I think Fanatics is doing a really good job of being creative and injecting new life into Topps. So I'm not anti-Fanatics, but I think, as one would suppose, there's some execution out of the gate that's been a little funny because it's a new endeavor for them. So I'm not particularly put out about it, but I think it's kind of unfortunate. And also, I have been looking on the back of all of my 2024 Topps cards now for that little 1/1. I haven't found one, of course. The odds are low. But how many cards do you give away or trade or just not look on the back? If you know it's not an SSP, why would you look on the back? Unfortunately, I think most of these cards are going to end up in the garbage because someone's going to just think it's a common card, give it to Goodwill or throw it away, or once you've completed your set, you trade all the extras you don't need. So I don't love that too much. I think that's really unfortunate. So the other issue, though, is I would advise strongly against investing in these cards because Topps has said that if you send them one of these cards, they will stamp the front for you. But there are counterfeiters out there who will stamp something 1/1 on the back. And so I suspect you're going to end up with multiples of these cards out there that are counterfeit. So I think they just kind of blew it, unfortunately, and it's not worth investing in these cards. But if you do find one, you might as well send it in and get it stamped. All right, so that's about it for today. I apologize for my voice being the way it is. I do have COVID, but I didn't want to wait until I got better to share all this with you. Please check out Dan the Card Man and also check out Sports Card Radio. Both of them did in-depth analysis of these issues. And please like the video. Please subscribe if you're still here. Join Noma Nation. We'd love to have you along for the ride. I normally sound a lot more fun to listen to than this, but I did want to share that information with you guys. So keep that big smile on your face, everybody, because baseball cards are awesome. And Noma loves ya. We'll see you next time.
Mänsklig Björlund, nobody loves you.